Centuries ago, heroes rallied to the Crystal Desert to stand against a renegade god. Will you too now answer that call?
Hey guys, and welcome back for another video. Today's is going to be a little bit special as finally the Path of Fire expansion has been announced. Oh, there's so much hype right now. So if you guys missed it on the Guild Wars 2 YouTube, they uploaded an announcement trailer as well as a bunch of other videos that are just cut up parts of that same 22-minute trailer. And I know they did a live stream, but I missed that. I was asleep when that took place. So for today's video, we're just gonna focus on the contents of that 22-minute trailer. I will take some time and look through the live stream and see if there's any other nuggets of information. But for today, let's just focus on what we know. First and foremost, we are going to the Crystal Desert. Now, if you finished Season 3, you already know this. This happens at the very end. We get a vision from the Eye of Janthier telling us that Balthazar is headed to the Crystal Desert on a murderous rampage to kill all dragons and consume their magic. I spent a fair amount of time in the Crystal Desert back in the good old Guild Wars 1 days, and I'm very excited to return and see what awaits us all these years later. But like I said, most of you guys probably already knew we were heading to the Crystal Desert, so what else was new? Well, this time they flat out told us how many maps we're getting, and it looks like we're getting 5 new maps. Additionally, they said these are some of the biggest maps they've ever created. I'm not sure if this includes the verticality of some of the Heart of Thorns maps or not, but they did include this comment.
It's not just, one massive desert that we're exploring, it's all these different biomes coming together.
The maps go tall, the maps go wide, the maps go under and around in places. We've really decided to bring exploration and discovery back to the forefront of Guild Wars 2.
So 5 new large maps is pretty cool, but that's kind of standard for an expansion pack. You expect to traverse a new and foreign land. What else could Guild Wars 2 give us with this expansion pack? Well, if you're terrible like me and you looked at some of the leaked information because you couldn't wait, you might already know where I'm going with this. You see, these maps are large because the new mastery will be mounts. So just like Heart of Thorns with gliding, we'll be getting mounts in this expansion. Now, whether or not those mounts will come to mainland Tyria just like gliding did is yet to be seen, and honestly, I kind of hope that they just stay in the Crystal Desert, but time will tell on that one. And if you've played Guild Wars 2 for a while now, you know they tend to take things from other MMOs and try and reimagine them a little bit. So what are mounts in Guild Wars 2?
So we're introducing mounts for the first time into Guild Wars 2. Historically in games, mounts are about traveling fast. To us, mounts are so much more.
A phrase we use a lot in the office is the joy of movement. It should feel exciting to move across the Alolan Desert in a variety of ways.
So they throw out the phrase joy of movement, and I gotta agree with them, this looks truly fun. Every mount will have its own unique way of moving around the world, and at least at launch it looks like we're getting 4 mounts. The Raptor, Springer, Skimmer, and Jackal. Each of these mounts will be unlocked through the Mastery system, so it seems like we'll start with the Raptor and move our way down the list. As for the unique ability, it appears that the Raptor has a large leap forward. The Springer, my personal favorite, will have a large jump you can do, and by holding in that jump, you can actually charge it up. The Skimmer, which looks like a large manta ray, will hover above the ground and even above the water, and the Jackal will blink forward and can change direction in midair. I'll be curious to see if they add in any extra mounts, but as they are tied to the Mastery system, I imagine the gem store will just fill with skins for the 4 existing mounts. And honestly, I'm fine with that. I was kind of worried when I saw some of the information out there that there would be exclusive gem store mounts, and I just don't think that's really fair to people who don't want to pay money to play this game. I feel like the addition of mounts is going to be sort of polarizing at first, but I know a lot of people have had access to this information for a while, so hopefully those people have already hashed this out. Also, because there are mounts now, I could assume that there will be way less waypoints in the Crystal Desert. In some other MMOs with mounts, the mounts have some form of combat, and this is what they had to say about that.
Mounts are not really intended to be a combat tool, they're more of a movement tool, but all of the mounts have a single skill that they can use to engage you into combat.
The Raptor's engage skill is this tail spin.
It can pull enemies together, so it's really good for starting off big fights.
So it looks like the mounts will act as an opener for combat, but won't actually engage in combat themselves, and I'm fine with this. Maybe one day we'll see a form of world versus world that incorporates mounts, but for now I'm happy enough just to have a fun way to move through the new maps. And speaking of combat, we have 9 new elite specializations coming into the game as well. As when these elite specializations were introduced in Heart of Thorns, it looks like each profession will gain access to a new weapon and a new set of skills. So let's go through all 9 real quick and just see what we're getting. The Warrior will turn into the Spellbreaker and gain access to the Dagger. The Guardian will become the Firebrand and gain access to the Axe. The Ranger will be called the Soul Beast and gain access to the Dagger, as well as the ability to fuse with their pet. The Mesmer will become the Mirage and gain access to the Axe. The Necromancer will become the Scourge and gain access to the Offhand Torch. Elementalist will become the Weaver and gain access to the long-awaited Sword, as well as the ability to multi-attune. The Revenant will become the Renegade, gain the new legend Call a Scorch Razor, as well as access to the Longbow. The Engineer will become the Hollowsmith, and it appears as if it's getting kits full of holographic weapons it can use. And finally, the Thief will become the Deadeye, gain access to the rifle, and essentially become a sniper. I'd like to take a deeper dive into each one of these, but I'm kind of just doing a recap of what we got in today's announcement. If any more information comes out on the elite specializations, or if I have time to go back and pick it apart a bit more, I will. At the very end of the announcement trailer, they did throw in one new guild hall, Windswept Haven, and this hall looks pretty cool. I've had very limited experience with the guild hall system, or even any of the existing guild halls, so I don't have much to say on that topic. But if you're tired of the hall you've had for a while now, this might be something to look out for. So these were the big bullet points of the announcement, the big selling points for the expansion. But there are still a few things that I want to mention before I finish this up. Firstly, about 4 minutes into this 22-minute trailer, they give us this.
Commander, there's something I have to tell you. I went into the mists after my sword, but I found something else.
So it would look like they're teasing a continuation of the Ritlock and the Mist story. I was worried this was just going to get swept away. I mean, we haven't hardly talked about it at all. Every time Ritlock's around, he gets taken away, or he's busy, or we're focused on the task at hand. But yeah, it looks like we're finally going to figure out what happened to Ritlock when he went to the Mists. I'm really hoping that this isn't just a connection to the expansion, that Ritlock went to the Mist, knew all this was going to happen, and then disappeared and we had to deal with it alone. I'd like to think that if he knew anything about this, he would have mentioned it well before now. He would just call us up on Timey's Bluetooth headset thing and let us know that basically we needed to get to the Crystal Desert ASAP. I don't know, guys, I'm at a loss here, so if you have any speculations as to what happened to Ritlock, please leave them in the comments. I'd love to read them. Other than that, we did get a preview of a few of the enemies we'll be encountering. You can see the Forged, which are Balthazar's army. The Awakened, which is Palawajoko's army, and you'll be excited about that if you played the original game. And as would be expected, we're going to fight more branded as we're in the homeland of Kraukatoric. Another small detail I noticed when watching this a few times was that the human faces look really good on some of these new NPCs. Like, way better than the default faces you get at character creation. I'm hoping that this is a sign of things to come, and we can expect better looking NPCs at the very least, and if not, more faces for our human characters. Anyway guys, those were the big bullet points of the patch and a few of the little nitpicks I made. If it seems like this trailer isn't as feature-filled as Heart of Thorns, that's because it's not. Your opinion of this might vary based on when you started playing the game, but around the time of Heart of Thorns, they established that they were putting a bunch of new systems into the game, and moving forward, they just wanted to expand on those systems. Because the groundwork's already laid, this expansion should be very content-rich. They even mention it in the trailer.
So last time we announced an expansion, we talked about all the things we were doing to make that vision a reality. Reworking some game systems and adding new forms of character progression, things like that. But that's not what we're here to talk about today. This new expansion is all about content.
The last and greatest reveal takes place at the very end of the trailer.
Path of Fire launches September 22nd.
September 22nd? That's next month. We'll have just barely had time to play the final episode of Season 3. I expected this expansion to come out in a few months, not next month. That's insane. So it would appear that we'll be headed to the Crystal Desert much faster than I had originally anticipated. Not only that, but August 11th, we're going to be able to play this thing for ourselves. That whole weekend, there will be an open beta for the expansion. A lot of things are happening, guys, and they're happening very quickly. Pre-orders are up now if you want to go ahead and grab the expansion for yourself. I'll be sure to leave a link down in the description if you guys want to pick that up for yourselves. I know I will be here shortly. That link is an affiliate link, but you guys can use any link you'd like to purchase the expansion. Anyway, guys, I hope you're excited. I know I am. Let me know what your guys' favorite new feature is down in the comments. Are you excited we're going to the Crystal Desert? Do you care about these elite specializations? What does this expansion mean for you as a player of Guild Wars 2? Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching, and as always, I'll see you in the next one.
The last time we visited the Crystal Desert was in Guild Wars Nightfall. That was 250 years ago, so a lot has changed in that time.